All right. WTF, Miss Fylisha Cruz.
We are back with our weekly WTF. And this week, I don't know why I'm the one that always has the WTF, but I do.
I like that, actually.
So I seen a little image thing, like they posted on Instagram. It's like an image, and it said that these parents were getting charges pressed against them for their child being obese and dying from that. Yeah. So what do you think of that? Because I know how I think of it, but what do you think of that? Because my WTF was one, reading that, and two, the thought behind the child abuse of somebody overfeeding their child.
Man, that's a tough one. I don't know. For me, like if I had a child, and then when I did I was a stepdad when they were 3 and 5, and they're like, one passed away, R.I.P. Vance, when he was like 23. His brother's now, I think, 24, 25 now, Brennan. And we, myself and my ex, we were always like really good about not giving them too much stuff. And we were here's the issue. The issue is, for me, is that you can't put someone in jail when they don't know to do better. It's like telling someone, here's $1 million, but you've been poor all your life and you don't know how to spend money, and they've never been taught anything. So if some parent is always...
But what if a doctor did tell them? Because that happens.
Okay.
So if you go to the doctor as an obese person, your doctor tells you you're obese.
Right.
The doctor tells you you're unhealthy. The doctor tells you that you need to do something about your weight.
I mean...
They obviously, if they see a child.
Right. The issue is that the child, undoubtedly, at that point, it's hard for the parents because the parents have such poor habits, and it comes down to the parents. I mean, I get that.
But isn't that a responsibility as a parent to be that role model? You change your life to support your child. You shouldn't, that's not an excuse just because you have poor habits. That's like me getting fat and saying, well, it's not my fault.
I mean, I just think it just goes, for me, it goes further out because their parents didn't know any better to teach them.
My parents didn't do anything that I do now.
Yeah.
So you can change that at any point in time. It's a choice.
I just think it's hard. I don't know.
None of it's easy.
No, but I don't know if it's black and white to change your different, you're an outlier, right? So I think that your mentality,
but that has nothing to do with it. I've seen other people do it that don't.
But what changed you if your parents had bad habits?
What changed me is that I wanted to live a better life. And to live a better life, you have to have better habits so you can get to where you want to be. You're not going to get to any goals in life and you're just going to be sitting in that same life. And I looked at it and I didn't want it.
Right.
If I had a child, I wouldn't want it to be fat and overweight and sick its whole life and die because of that.
Right.
I literally look at people overweight, like that are extremely overweight, like they're going to die and it's really sad.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I think that as a parent, it is your job to make sure your child doesn't end up like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I think it goes back to everyone shouldn't be having children if you're not going to be a parent. And I think that's what you're talking about here, which is you have a responsibility regardless. If you have a child in this world, it is your job to make sure, because you're a protector of them and they can protect themselves. And I think that's what you're leaning on too.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's your job to take care of them.
Yeah, it is your job to take care of them. And I'm thinking about that
another example. So now think about it. When kids don't go to school and they come after the parent for not not making sure the kid goes to school. I don't know if that still happens. Right. I really don't. But I know when I was a kid, if you didn't go to school, they would check in and be like, why hasn't this kid gone to school?
Right.
And, or, you're not taking them to the doctor and they're not getting what they need to, be healthy, and nobody checks in on that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is such a issue in our country, especially. I'm sure kind of in other parts of the world too. I mean, obesity is all over, but mostly in our country. And I think that we should be making sure that these kids are healthy,
You're right. I mean, when I think about it,
it's abuse. I think the same thing about animals. If I let my dog get overweight, she could barely walk. How is that not abuse?
Right. Yeah.
I control what goes in her bowl.
Right. Yeah. No, listen, if you have a child, it is your duty to make sure that they do better than what you did, regardless.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, that's 1000%. I believe that. And if I had a child, I'd be like, you're not eating that. I might be able to eat it if I'm a fat ass. That's okay. But you're not eating this stuff that we're eating.
Well, it's not even just about saying they can't eat it. It's making sure that they don't eat too much.
Well, no, yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying that you have to have them on a chicken and rice diet.
No, but but you're just like, yeah, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna allow you to overeat. I'm not gonna be buying you McDonald's and all these fillers and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not just because it's your birthday. You're not eating an entire cake.
Right. No, that's exactly it. You have to watch it's everything. It's portion control, but it is at the end of the day, parents are responsible for their children.
And how is that any different than anything else you teach them?
It's not.
Or any other structure you give them.
Right.
And I think another part of what leads to this is the parents letting the child or children run the household.
What do you mean by that?
So basically what I mean is there's no structure, there's no discipline, there's no rules.
Yeah.
They're whining, they can just have it. I just want to shut them up. Or, they're annoying me, so I'm going to hand them a tablet. That kind of parenting.
Yeah, it's you're talking, I had to bring it up. I'm Gen X, so we got belt to ass. Dude, we got belt to ass. My mom, we go into a store, don't ask for nothing, don't touch nothing, don't do nothing. And if you did, that was belt to ass. That was like inside the shop. I look at my brother, we'd be at like TGA, TGA, what is it called?
TGI Friday?
No, it was TGA or TG&Y. It was an old school, like a Payless, basically. Payless doesn't exist anymore, but it's Payless, or I can't even.
They don't exist anymore? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Payless doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, just like, Toys R Us doesn't exist. That's crazy. But we get belt to ass. And now there's too many numbers for kids to call like, I'm getting abused right now. It's like, dude, you want to see abuse? Abuse is when we're not feeding and stuff like that. So it's like, you got to listen. But the kids running households, nah. I'm old school. If I had a child right now, and hey, if Brennan sees this little clip, Brennan will tell you, he knew him and his brother acted up one time at Thanksgiving. I pulled him over. I said, listen, man, I'm gonna give you time. Don't ever talk to your mom or your grandpa like that because, bro, we're going to have a problem.
Well, and I think there's balance, right? Like, I think discipline, you don't need to abuse that.
I didn't hit anybody. No.
Yeah.
I never hit either one of them.
There is a balance that you can do where you have the discipline, the structure, but without.
I did. No, that's how I did.
Abuse.
I was abused as a child, but these two, young boys, they're beautiful kids. But, and Brendan never really acted up. He'd be doing stuff where he knows. But I never laid a hand on them, ever.
But I feel like overfeeding your child is the same amount of abuse as hitting a child.
Absolutely.
I may get people that get really angry about that comment, but I think it's completely true. I think you're abusing them. I wouldn't do that to my dog. I wouldn't do that to a child.
No, you should not. If you love that thing or that human, that animal, you won't do that. And you have to put your foot down and you cannot be, and I don't care if you're coming to me. I was a dad, for 16 years. You cannot come after me. I treated them very, very well. You can't treat anything that you love the way, that it's just going to disappear. And my legacy, even as a stepdad, has to be like, I have to be more of a parent and not their friend. And that's the issue that a lot of people are having now with millennials and Gen Z. They want to be hanging out and kicking it. It's like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm like,
You can do that and still have respect. You still have to have
yes, absolutely.
I don't know. I just like that whole thing just kind of like was definitely a WTF for me. I was like, I just like never even thought about that. And then you see that a kid actually died from being overfed. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, how is that okay? How do we walk around and just see, these overweight, obese children and not think of child abuse?
No, you're right.
So now I look at it completely different.
Well, if they're being tried, there's gonna be a lot more of this coming down the line, which is great because you know what? Hey, guess what? Don't have a child if you don't have the wherewithal in order to take care of that. Remember I told you before, early in a post that I talked about Pearl. I said, I'm just not ready to be a father yet to a kitty cat because I know if I'm going to take on this cat or a dog or whatever that might be, I have to be better and I have to be more selfless than I have been, and I can be selfish and selfless when I'm living by myself.
Which is you have a little bit more of a choice with an animal. You do.
Right.
Because sometimes you get pregnant and you just, it's unplanned. I'm not saying that at all. I'm more saying I do think that there should be some kind of regulation because it's child abuse, and it should be able to be reported just as well as like somebody actually like physically touching a child.
Yeah. It's just, I mean,
because we have to look out for these kids.
Somebody does. I mean, it should be the parents.
Well, yeah, but like as a society,
but you're saying
we should be taking care of these kids.
We ought to be. It takes a village to do that, and that was what I was kind of getting at being Gen X. You know, I could get my butt beat by my mama or by somebody else first because they were responsible. It didn't make a difference, white, black, or whatever. It's like Lily was acting up, and he had to get it, and then I'd get it back at home too as well. You know, I was a good kid, but still, that's what I was afraid of. You know, like people were parenting outside of themselves. Outside of their own homes, and we cared about everybody, no matter what.
It's different now. It's so
nobody cares about anybody except for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, half the time we don't care about anyone but our like physical self.
Yeah, in my immediate space, whatever I can see and touch, that's what I'm going to be immediately.
Or you don't even care about yourself. I mean, that's very common too.
Right.
So, that was just like I just can't believe that, and then like on top of it. Because I remember growing up, there wasn't a lot of kids that were like super overweight. There really wasn't. There was not very many. And I grew up in the Midwest. I mean, we eat fat kids there. You know what I mean? Like it's not healthy.
No.
It's loaded with carbs.
When I go to Midwest, it's biggins out there.
And it's worse than it was when I was a kid.
It is.
Oh yeah, way worse.
I've been back a long time.
And I don't know. Like, it's just, to me, I think we need to be on the lookout for that now. Now it's like eye-opening, and I see it in a different light. I didn't really like seeing it in general. Like, I just don't really like seeing, especially kids, like, overweight.
Right.
I want people to be healthy. I want people to enjoy life, and to enjoy life to the fullest, you have to be feeling your best, because otherwise it's just going to have this toll on you. And I think kids don't have as much of an opportunity to make those choices for themselves because they're under the household that takes care of them, and they're the ones that put the food in the cabinet, the plates in front of them, the snacks in front of them, the drinks, all of that stuff. And if we're not watching out for that, this is what happens. And
Absolutely.
It's sad.
It really is sad. No, for sure. Nothing to be said other than the fact that if you have a child and you do care about them, take care of them. They don't know any better, but you do. And that's why you're a parent. And if it was an unplanned pregnancy or whatever, hey, you got to figure it out. You got to do better. I mean, it's not coming from a judgy place. You just got to do better. You have a child, and I'm not, for the single mothers out there or single dads, whoever you are, you have to be better.
I know, like, we don't have kids. We don't really have a lot of room to talk about parenting.
Right. But I was a parent before.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not really trying to give parenting advice. I'm just awareness.
That's
awareness.
It.
Pay attention to this. Understand that it is child abuse, and that we shouldn't see overweight kids like we do. Yeah. Obese kids, not even overweight. It's obese.
Yeah. Amen to that. That's all I can say.
That's it, guys.
All right.
For our WTF. Until next time. Bye.